Hello and welcome to Xena, Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera and I'm joined as always by my two gleaming co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Hi.
Is that off of our armor?
Oh, yeah.
It's more off of your ring that you're wearing.
Okay.
Oh,
Snaps.
Nice one.
All right, so before we launch into this episode, which is a really good one, I hear some ice. So let's just get into this. You know, our official podcast liquor,
beverage?
yeah,
Of
choice has now been rendered problematic. And
Into the jar.
there we go. Alas, poor bullet. I'm kind of finishing off our problematic juice in this house. But after that, we're going to be in need of a new official bev.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, Bullet whiskey is made by homophobes. Do not support it. Only drink it if you're Vera and you're trying to kill the stash that we already have in the house.
Yeah, it's almost gone. Well, you guys have like a crazy concoction.
Yeah, we are drinking Aperol and Mezcal. So get in touch.
Yeah, that's too fancy for
any
me.
homophobes need this.
Yeah, I just need a new like bourbon or whiskey to substitute for my sweet bullet.
If somebody out there can tell us, like, what's a good substitute for bourbon? Well, I mean, not for bourbon. We do not want to substitute bourbon. We want more bourbon.
Yes, all the bourbon in
But
our
yeah, if there's
mouths.
like a good bullet alternative, I would be happy to hear about it.
If you say it's sexy to us, that even more bonus points. Well, this kind of goes into our Salmonia second for this week. Which means Patreon.
Do we have to throw coins?
No,
every time?
we did it the first time.
It's fine.
And now it's covered.
It's done. It's done.
He's the best.
Yes,
We
he
love
is.
Subway.
I know. I miss him every day.
I know.
So what's on the docket this week? We are in the process of getting our new equipment. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you'll hear a better quality.
sound
but at the
soon.
same time, it's like you should know what's going on behind the curtain, and it always sounds great.
Yeah. But maybe it's like it goes from great to like better than great.
Better great. Yes.
We also have some patrons that we would like to thank this week. Ready?
Yes.
Thank you, Olivia Johnson.
Olivia number 1.
Thank you, Olivia Zindran.
Also Olivia number 1.
Power to
all
the
Olivias. Do you feel solidarity?
I do. From an Olivia to two Olivias. Thank you. We also have Victoria. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, Bakai XV.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stands for Xenaville.
Nice.
Bakai XV hangs out on the old Xenaville boards.
Yeah, because we got it wrong last time.
We did.
Sorry
we
about
assumed
that.
it was Roman numerals, which is relevant to today's episode. How about that? Okay. Thank you to Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you.
Lastly, thank you to Anna Heathcote.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you
Oh
so
my God.
much.
So many thank yous. I feel so like Aladdin. Like, thank you, Jennifer.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Anna.
You should sing them from now on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. We should totally play that. Oh, it's so good. No, seriously, we love all y'all. Oh, it means so much to us.
As we said
Absolutely.
before, if you didn't hear your name, we will get to it next time or the time after that.
Yep.
We're planning to do thank yous every week because we're that thankful.
We really are.
We love Alanis. Well, besides that, we are still, working on our next big stretch goal, which is our merch
Oh, yes.
T-shirts for all.
and possibly other merch. We're in the process of.
Possibly other mysterious merch.
Yeah, but the shirts, that's what matters most.
Absolutely. I want more shirts, so I'm sure you guys do too.
Yes.
And then everybody can run around telling everyone how Xena did everything first all the time by wearing it on their body. Yeah.
Yeah, and also that everybody should be more gay.
Always.
Does that cover our second?
I think
that's
so.
it for this week.
All right. So let's then jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
316. When in Rome. ...
Do as the Romans do.
Yeah.
Correct.
That seems like a bad idea.
You gotta
Don't.
eat a lot of fruit. This one's written by Steve Sears and directed by John Lang.
John Lang is a new director for Xena.
First step.
But he has directed episodes of Hercules.
All right.
Also, Jack of All Trades.
Bruce.
Also, Cleopatra 25.
Yes.
He will go on to direct Tsunami and You Are There.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good ones. Very spaced
This
out.
one, yeah, I thought he did a really great job with this one. There were some things that were very noticeable.
This is a huge, almost like a director's showcase of an episode. Like, there's so many, like, big locations and set pieces.
He must have, like, gotten this and been like, I'm going to make my, like, classic Hollywood, like, Roman epic.
That's so funny. I think what he really did was watch Destiny. And be
that
like,
too.
I'm very
I'm gonna remake
on board
this.
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was,
Get
at the
me
time,
that red dress, please.
Yes,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
at the time, we were like, Destiny is like a big movie episode, so it all works out. Yeah. So this one begins in Gaul.
And you immediately know the scope of this episode is going to be huge when you have these.
The words Gaul written over the screen,
Well, it
and it's
shows,
set
like,
in that one village.
We're clearly going to be going between different
Yes,
places,
yes.
so that's a big deal.
Also, like, did you just go, oh no, Gaul?
Yeah, why are you oh-knowing for Gaul?
What? I didn't
Gaul's
say
where
no.
Malilah's from. It's a cool place.
Yeah, and I went oh no maybe I don't remember saying
Oh no,
it, but,
never mind. Never mind.
but-
Forget that.
But to me, like, I thought we were like in Syria because I was like, Callisto's back because everything is, the way that.
It's very smoky.
Yeah, it's very
village.
smoky. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of fighting happening.
I noticed that it wasn't, usually you have the blue skies in New Zealand, but here, like, it's cloudy, and I feel like it immediately changes the vibe of that village set. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is grittier.
So we meet some new peeps. We meet Vercinix.
Vercinix.
And we meet Mendela.
Now, Vera, I believe you had put a pin in
I
this
can't
actor.
believe you remembered.
Well,
I'm
it was
so
funny.
happy.
When he appeared, I was like, this guy's hot. And I was like, Vera mentioned a hot guy. Is this the same guy? And
Okay,
it was.
so this is this dude named Tamati Rice, who last appeared in The Price as like crazy soldier
he was
guy.
the one freaking out.
Yeah,
he was like
not
the opposite of Vercinix.
I wouldn't call him hot there. I think he was like guy.
He was an early stage of hot. He
Yes.
was working his way up to it.
Now the beard is what classifies him as hot. I think for me, because this guy, I am like upset. I wrote little hearts next to him in my notes.
He's not playing a goon.
I know he's not
I
a
was gonna
goon.
be like, he's your new favorite goon.
He's not. I don't know how to classify him, but I think
just-
he's the most
you're-
beautiful man on this program.
The scar is nice. He has a scar across
He has
the
a
side
scar.
of his face.
He looks like a lion because he has like a big hair and beard situation. And
But he's
also,
got like a lovely profile.
he's just
Very
gorgeous.
chiseled.
And if you put that hair up in a man bun and you put some suspenders on him, he is just a mixologist from Brooklyn, and I am all over it.
I didn't realize you were so into mixologists.
Oh my God,
from
I
Brooklyn.
am. Only in suspenders and a vest.
Oh no.
So yes, that is Vercinix for me. I'm so glad he's here now.
But too bad for you, Vera. He's married
Oh my God, I know. Oh, that bitch.
to Mendela. No,
Yeah.
she's cool.
She's cool, but
I wanted more of her. I mean, I
yeah.
love that this episode
She's just white.
includes her.
Yeah.
I think it does a really good job because you don't get that much of Vercinix over the course of the episode. But so this is like the one
Yeah.
scene to like make you care
Yeah.
about
This
him.
is it.
And when she comes back, he's like, wife, because we're going to remind you.
Look, they don't have a lot of time. Do it in broad strokes.
They got some really great, like, outlandery music over their romance. Like, you automatically are, like, swept up in their
Celtic
love story.
pipes, yeah.
You're, like, into it. You're like, yeah.
And he's all like, you committed yourself well in battle, but now I need you to run to the hills to keep our children safe and lead our people. So it's this very, she's not a damsel in distress. He's like, no, I need your leadership skills elsewhere.
Yeah, she was going to stay and fight.
I mean, I'm sure for him, like, he's protecting her.
Of
That
course,
is
yeah.
what's happening.
I love that when he's like, okay, you have to take our children to safety. She turns around, the camera pans, and they're right there.
Yeah.
The kids are like right there.
Broad strokes. It just needs to get all the information like in front of our eyeballs as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so they're fighting the Romans.
I like that you don't actually know that at first, at least for me. Like,
Yeah.
when I watched this episode, I was like, oh, some guys fighting in Gaul. I didn't do the math to be like, who could this possibly be fighting in Gaul? And I recognized them by their shield formation that they do with the spears.
Well done.
The like turtle.
Yeah, they make the little turtle, and I was like, those are the Romans. Then almost immediately, there's a guy who's like, for the glory of Rome.
Well, that was the best part, because the Romans have regrouped, and then the Gauls, led by Vercinix, they're going to attack. So they scream, Gauls!
It's like the Jets versus the Sharks. Rome, Gauls, Rome,
Yeah.
Gauls. So, Vercinix, he's based on a real historical figure. Mm-hmm. Vercingetorix.
Oh, geez.
Or Getorix.
That's not what you
It's
call
GIF
him?
or GIF. Depends.
GIF or GIF.
Yeah.
Well, this dude is similar. He united a bunch of individual Celtic people in the Gallic Wars and went up against Caesar and scored some military victories, but then was captured.
Yeah.
Or actually, Plutarch describes it as he like rode out of his city and like tried to save his people by like riding up to Caesar like on his big like armored horse and like came off and like kneeled before him.
Wow.
Like, struck this very romantic, heroic figure, like
Nice.
sacrificing himself. But then when it was Caesar's turn to describe what happened there, he made it like be much like, it was just like, yeah, I got this guy. No big thing.
Yeah.
NBD, no big deal. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense for Caesar to downplay that shit.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
And then they kept him in Rome as a prisoner for 5 years, which this episode compresses quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
He's in Rome for 5 minutes.
That's all right.
Good 5 days.
They strangled him.
Yeah, that was a weird.
And that's apparently what they did with prisoners.
Strangulation.
That was like a typical execution. Was a
So weird.
strangle
Yeah, I
them.
wonder how the details of that
That
went.
doesn't seem, like enough of a spectacle.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad Xena made it better.
We gotta get Crassus up in here for that. We're bringing back the spectacles.
That's right.
Well, Caesar.
Not in this episode, I meant historically.
I
but
know,
anyway,
I know.
okay.
We're
Just to
getting
be
to
on the
it.
same page.
We'll get to Crassus. Caesar is the one who rides in on a horse here in this episode.
Yeah.
Quite
And you hear,
Of course.
Of course, yeah. So he's like on this white horse, and his armor is like all gold.
all gold.
I
solid
love
gold.
the weather right now because it makes his gold look really good. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so cloudy.
That's the
But
best
his
time
gold,
to shoot.
yeah, the gold is like popping. Looks
Yeah.
good.
And he has this big red plume, which on any man would look ridiculous, but on Caesar, you're like,
On
yeah.
Carl Urban, it looks the most ridiculous. But yeah.
But I mean, this is great because we have seen a progression of Caesar's battle armor, from Destiny through the Deliverer and now here. So you're seeing just like how far this character has progressed, in terms of Roman politics. He runs the place now.
He just looked like a golden god, he was really something else. And so they capture Vercinix, and they have this exchange where Vercinix is basically like, they can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. And then,
But I like that Caesar explains that he needs Vercinix to secure his empire.
Right.
We're all like, what does that mean? But important to the plot of this episode, that the capture of this particular guy is really important for Caesar's reputation. And this is also true of the historical Vercingetorix /Vercingetorix.
So then meanwhile in Syria, it's actually the Romans who are getting their butt kicked.
So this is already amazing. We skipped all the way from Gaul to Syria, which is like, that's far away.
Yeah. But I thought it was really cool to see kind of like that, you think that Rome is absolutely impenetrable, and then it's like, well, they're
They're just getting their asses kicked.
Exactly.
By the Parthians.
Right. And are they wearing the same outfits as like the guys from One Against the Army?
I think they are.
Yeah.
So that's some consistency.
That's consistency.
Yeah.
So they have taken one random guy from the Roman legion and they're going to execute him. And just as this random guy is going to get executed, we hear Xena's war cry. But it's not Xena, it's
A pile.
a bag of swords.
No, I was laughing because I wrote bag of screaming swords,
Yeah.
which didn't make any sense when I looked at it again.
This is actually a really clever way of freeing prisoners. I liked it.
To have the swords flip it out.
Yeah, let the swords flip in,
Yeah.
and it's just complete chaos.
Right, and
immediately.
then the prisoners are now armed, so everybody starts fighting. And Xena rides in.
She says, "Hello, Crassus. How's your backside?"
Yeah, I was like, what? Her butt? Why is she asking about that?
I mean, this is funny because this is a situation where, it's telling us that Xena and Crassus have a history, but we haven't seen any of it.
well, yeah, so the
Let's
first
make
thing...
it sound as intriguing as possible. His backside is involved.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, well, she means like the future where she decides to drag him behind a horse.
Oh, you think so?
That's what it means.
No.
That is 100% what it means.
She's like, how is it now? Because it's about to be...
yes, that's
Only
what it
his
is.
backside, though? Like, when
He
he
was-
dragged,
yeah.
it's like back and front and side.
He was flipping around, so it wasn't just his butt, but like that's what she meant.
I still like to think he got spanked sometime
By
in
her.
the past. Yeah.
Sure. So we see Xena drag him to whatever, another location, and Gabrielle is waiting there.
This other location looks exactly like Greece.
Of course.
I mean, it all
or
actually...
New Zealand.
Oddly, all of these places look exactly like Greece.
So here is Gabrielle, and she's waiting for Xena, and she sees Xena pull up a guy behind her on a horse. Is this triggering for
A
her?
little bit.
didn't
I
see
think it was.
Did you see
I
it on
think-
her face?
I think, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
'Cause
There's a lot of
that's
going
some
on in her
fresh
face in
wounds.
this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
this is a
start
scene
now.
that requires her to kind of silently tell you a lot about where the character is in terms of like, is she on board with this plan that's going on?
This guy's Crassus.
Oh, yeah, this
By the
guy's
way, BT
Crassus.
dubs.
He's 1/3 of the Triumvirate, which is ruling Rome right now.
Right. Well, we haven't had the scene where he expositions that.
Yeah.
He's about to, right, he's about to explain to us what the Triumvirate is, which is very helpful.
I mean, it's necessary.
I mean, we should say, like, here that Steve Sears does a great job of just, like, there's so much exposition and world building this episode. Like, we've never seen Rome before. We've never been
Yeah.
to Syria. We've never been to Gaul. Like, these are...
Have we not seen Rome before?
No. This is our first trip to Rome, so this is a big deal because it's
Yeah.
been hyped up over the course of, like, more than a season now.
Yeah.
So, like, you could just kind of, like, wave your magic wand and be like, Rome's cool, let's just go there and see what happens. But Steve adds a lot of actual historical detail to
Right.
what was going on in Rome politically, which is,
Yeah.
like, complicated as fuck. And he
Yeah.
does a good job, I
Well,
think,
that's
of getting
the
across.
Beauty of like every time they do this stuff, which is like they are doing history but rewriting it so it's Xena
Yeah.
based,
Yeah.
and that's really fun.
Yeah, and sometimes that can kind of lead you, like, rolling your eyes and being like, you're simplifying things that are actually way more interesting if you know the full story. But here, I feel like they're mining the drama out of this triumvirate. Like, I
Yeah.
love all this boy drama that's happening. All these
course you
boys who, like, hate...
Did you want them to kiss?
All of them. I wanted a triumvirate in the
No.
bedroom.
Oh no.
Oh, get off the podcast.
So what does Xena explain here? She wants to trade Crassus for Vercinix.
Vercinix. So she has a really important Roman prisoner. Rome has a very important non-Roman,
Non-Roman prisoner, yeah. And we are introduced to his imperial ring here.
It's a little bit of a MacGuffin. He needs this to identify himself.
I kind of believe
Otherwise,
this.
no one would know.
Yeah, because they don't have pictures. They don't have the internet.
They have, like, gorgeous, hyper-realistic sculpture. Like, if you want to see...
Oh, you have to bring your bust with you?
Yeah, if you want to see what Crassus looks like now, go on the internet. You can see, and it's like, that's
But you have to carry that around in a special bag. That's me.
Well, go to the museum, be like, oh yeah, Crassus.
It made me really uncomfortable. Like, in when we watched Spartacus, there was like Gannicus' character who got freed from being a slave, and like he had to carry like a stick around with him, or a sword or whatever, that was like, if he didn't have that, he's 100% a slave. But if he has that, it's like, nope, this is a free man. So like if you leave that at home, like you could just be recaptured. It's kind of awful when you think about it.
It's like how we have to carry ID cards around to prove that
you have to have
humans.
Your license. Yeah. Otherwise, what are you, Olivia? You're not a human. Where's your bust?
I don't know. That's what it's like to live in bureaucracy, dude.
So anyway, I believe in the ring. Like, the ring was a really good bit for me, personally.
I mean, I think it's a great plot device. It's set up here in a way where you're like, oh, that's cool. You don't really think about the narrative possibilities, and there are many, and they all get exploited. Mm-hmm. Crassus says a really fun thing here. He once he understands what Xena's plan is, he gets kind of excited, and is like, you're going up against Caesar. I wouldn't miss this for the world. And you cut to Gabrielle reacting.
This is my favorite shot maybe in the whole thing. Just because I love that they took a moment to leave the camera on her when two other people are talking, because of how it affects her so deeply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is what I mean about, like, a lot of this whole scene you can count as emotional continuity for Gabrielle, because, she started off with seeing some dragging. That's a memory. Then we mentioned Caesar. Well, that's a huge memory.
The thought of Xena going up against Caesar is, horrible for her, because the last time Xena did that, everything was terrible.com. And you just get to spend a couple seconds, like, seeing that play out on her face.
Yeah, and it's really good storytelling in that it's all silent. It's not trying to, like, flag this to you, being like, pay attention. You're just expected to remember the events of the deliverer and to see that in the subtle interplay of emotions on Renee O'Connor's face. I also really like just the fact that, like, they're talking about Xena versus Caesar in terms of spectacle already. I guarantee you'll get a front row seat, Xena says, which turns out to be a big threat, a big ironic threat. Yeah. But, that's kind of what this episode is about the spectacle of that battle. And, like, it makes me think back to The Deliverer, where we were deprived that spectacle. Like, they played it up and played it up, and you were like, yeah, I can't wait for them to fight, and then you didn't get it. So here, like, straight off the bat, we get this conversation with Crassus, where Xena's like, don't worry, it's really gonna happen this time.
So they leave Syria, and they're on a boat.
We're on a boat,
we're motherfucker.
Back. Yep. Got a nautical theme, Ashmina Afghan.
I like that the actual music, which is not that song that is playing.
But can you imagine if it were?
I mean, that'd be pretty great. Is like a female vocal, which reminded me a lot of Malilah's song. Yeah.
I think this is the same boat, the Destiny boat with the eyes painted on it.
Cool.
So, a nice little piece of, like, back referencing.
Rob's first boat.
And maybe Xena picked it deliberately. This is like, wait till Caesar gets a load of this boat.
Yeah. Gabrielle is feeding Crassus. That was a nice touch.
And I assume they've been on the boat for a little bit. She's fine.
Well, she's wearing her invisible C-bands. Yeah.
Though, one look at that gruel and I kind of want to barf.
Isn't it just oatmeal?
Yeah, it's oatmeal. Thick oatmeal, though.
Yeah, yum. And then, so this is where Xena explains what the Triumvirate is.
Crassus does. Crassus is like, let me explain my job to you.
Okay.
But, I mean, what's fun about this is that he says that Caesar and Pompey and they're not friends. They're just conveniences to each other. So he's, like, describing the boy shit, which sounds really good.
Which is like Xena's description of them as 3 warlords instead of 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, she was the first one to describe, and he elaborates.
See, there you go.
Yeah, and he's annoyed by that. He's like, we're politicians, we're not warlords.
Yeah.
He's so like, we're not just thugs, even though they clearly are just thugs.
I liked how Lucy delivered, they hate each other, but they can't live without each other. It's already like her
What do you
voice-
think that's really about?
Ooh, Olivia, how are you in the process of writing the fic right now?
No, not about the boys. It's about Xena and Caesar. She is
right.
unwittingly describing
Yes.
their relationship.
Absolutely.
And I feel like Crassus calls her on it by saying, like, you understand power. Like, don't pretend like this is so, like, alien to you.
And you can already see that it's starting to affect her just by the slight, like, raising of her voice. Like, her voice is a little bit higher when she's talking about...
A little bit more, like, warlord.
Yeah,
Xena.
like, seriously, it's... In the vocal performance, like, already there's a shift. Like, she's already compromised mentally.
Because she's on that same damn boat.
That she rented out specifically.
So I love this detail that Xena uses the pinch to get his ring off,
yeah.
which is, I think, a new use for the pinch, this kind of insta-paralysis of just your fingers.
Yeah.
Crassus kind of lays out the threat to Xena's character that this episode sets up, which is that she, even though she claims she's there for Vercinix, to save her friend, it sounds a lot like the rhetoric she used about Boadicea back in The Deliverer. I'm here for my friend. You know, it's not about Caesar. Like, Crassus is like, no way, you're totally gonna assassinate him. And he always impairs your judgment. Like, when she's around him, others tend to suffer.
Yeah.
Which is a big line. A big Deliverer red flag line.
One more note about the ring. Xena takes it because she's going to use it to prove to Caesar that she has Crassus. Otherwise, he won't believe her.
This episode is so plotty. Help.
It's plotty, but unlike we were talking last week about how plot can sometimes be used to distract you from the fact that there actually isn't anything going on.
This is a good episode full of plot.
This one, like, and you know, all of the plots I think are really smart and like make sense with the characters. Like, I like that actually Caesar here in this chess match with Xena. I mean, he's a good adversary. She tricks him, but like, he does pretty well for himself throughout. You don't feel it that he comes out of this being like, an idiot.
Yeah.
Just like he wasn't thinking 2 steps ahead the way Xena was.
Yeah. So, speaking of Caesar, we're in Vegas, y'all.
Caesar's palace.
Oh, that was cute, I guess. That
I know,
wrote that.
they went there. They knew you were gonna make the joke, so they made it for you.
Yeah, I mean, well, how else can you describe it? It is his
It's a
palace.
casino.
It's his house.
I
And,
hope it was on the casino set from King Khan, just to like.
oh my god.
Extra.
So we meet Pompey here.
He's yelling about aqueducts
He
hilariously.
wants the aqueduct. He kind of reminded me of Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Oh my god, the hair! I see it. In
And
the
just
hair.
like the I want this now. Like,
He's
kind
a
of
bit
attitude.
of a. I mean, I would say he's like a bro version of Caesar, but Caesar is a bro anyway.
Well,
but he's like ultra bro.
So here's 2 words that come out like when I think of both these guys. So Caesar is arrogant, but Pompey is pompous.
I see what you did there.
Well, actually, this really.
Can you imagine if he was Pompey the Pompous?
Oh my god, right?
That would
But
be
I mean,
pretty
like, there's
good.
such a slight difference there in how they are.
Yeah. You know, arrogance can come from like legit badassery.
Yeah.
Whereas Pompey, you feel like maybe has an inflated sense
Yes.
of his self-worth.
Yeah. Well, we've seen this actor before in Blind Faith.
He's Palamon. I think that was his name.
Yes.
Blind Faith guy. So now he's back in his proper role.
There he was a young buck just trying to impress Xena.
Now
he's a man.
trying to impress Xena.
Everyone was very mad at us for not talking about that moment when he notices Xena and Gabrielle after the coffin thing and like is like, oh, this is too, I gotta give them some privacy and leaves. So here we mentioned it now.
Great.
My feeling back then is that he was slightly miscast as Palamon. I felt like he was kind of too beefy, too mature and sophisticated to be playing this like young guy trying to impress Xena. I think he's perfect here.
Yeah.
I think this is absolutely the role for him. And he has this great kind of sliminess that I think works really well for Pompey. Like, he's a lot of fun here.
He is, and I absolutely love his armor. I think he wins, in my opinion, for best costume. It's just...
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, it's like, well, because it's not big old gold plate
everywhere
in your
with
face.
a big plume.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. It's more like white with like red kind of as like a theme, and I think it just looks... He looks like rich Roman, not like crazy.
Which
gold.
works,
yeah,
right?
Because
Because that is clearly the division between him and Caesar. Caesar has the people's love. Pompey has hardened legions to command, and also a shit ton of money.
And Crassus has a lot of money.
Even more money.
Yeah, the most. So he's forced to like give him the aqueduct, but in exchange, like Pompey has to like do a vote for him. So that's like how their business works. They all kind of like hate each other, but they need each other.
I like that this episode name checks a bunch of famous things associated with Rome, like the aqueduct and the Appian Way.
What is he gonna do with the aqueduct? Like, why does he need it?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, do aqueducts make money? I'm a little unclear. But, I'm glad he got it. You get that aqueduct, Pompey.
They also, in this entire scene, if you just like don't focus on what they're saying, there's so much leather squeaking.
Yeah.
Just so much.
That's like dick swinging for these dudes. Like, look at my leather. Hear the sounds.
And the important thing is that they think Crassus has died in Syria.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Historically.
Which is historically true. And it was basically what broke up the Triumvirate. Because I think Crassus was holding them in check. And once you just have Pompey versus Caesar,
bad.
All
Very
falls
bad.
apart. Pompey was married to Caesar's daughter, Julia,
Right.
historically, and I'm sad that never made it into
Yeah.
the show. That sounds like some dramatic stuff, juicy.
So, what else is juicy? Maybe how Xena waltzes right in there.
Oh my god, struts
Busts
in.
Yeah. I love how the guard's like, there's a lady, she's unarmed, but she's coming right in. And Caesar is literally
Speechless.
Tongue-tied.
Yep.
To me, I was like, this is what happens when your side piece walks in on dinner with the wife. You're just like, you're not supposed to be here. You're like in my other life.
Yeah.
Like, I think for him, Xena is this person who haunts him whenever he's not in Rome.
Right.
Like, that's how he has, like, divided
But when
his
you
life.
are in Rome,
When in Rome.
So yeah, she walks right in there, and Pompey's like, "Oh, this is Xena."
Pompey is excited right away. I love how he just kind of sidles up behind her and is just clearly like checking her out for the rest of the scene. And he has this tick where he like kind of like traces his lips with his finger. Like he does it throughout. It's definitely a little bit gross.
Oh my.
But he like commits to this tick and
he commits to this acting choice.
yeah, and it works because you immediately know what this dude is thinking.
All right, cool. Well, Xena tells the boys that she has Crassus, and they're like, "What?" And she proves it by pulling out that imperial ring from her boobs.
Of course, it's in her boobs.
Where else would it be?
And she wants Vercinix, obviously. She tells the plan.
Caesar is skeptical, so she offers to take him to Crassus personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm impressed he went along with that.
How did she get him to go? It's because she's going to leave Gabrielle as insurance.
Yes. Yeah. I really wanted a scene of Gabrielle left behind in Caesar's palace with Pompey, presumably. Mm-hmm. You know, Pompey would be like sizing her up while tracing his lips.
It would be just like the movie Go.
It would be like Go. Before we leave the scene, we have to mention Xena's amazing line that she says to Caesar when he's all tongue-tied, where she's like, there's a sentence in there just dying to get out. She's like, this is such an excellent burn. And, it's just so great to see Xena getting, like, the drop on Caesar for a change.
I also like that he doesn't really know where they're at. Like, he doesn't really remember the
he's
deliverer.
Like, friend,
and like, where are we? What are we up to?
I forget what happened.
Yeah.
But I feel this episode changes Caesar's characterization a teeny bit, where you feel like he's more into Xena than you previously thought.
Well, I think he's in once he got Vercinix, I feel like he's more secure about himself and his position in Rome. So he's like, has room to sort of like play with Xena, as opposed to in The Deliverer, where it was like business,
Yeah. I think that's true. But I also feel like because in The Deliverer she did outsmart him a bit, he's noticed her in a way. Like, she's proven herself as not just a woman who was, his victim who he manipulated, but like his equal, somebody he really needs to worry about. And I feel like that's coming across almost as sexual attraction here. He's like, oh, I care about this person.
I don't think that has ever left.
You're like, that's always been there.
Yeah, ever since Destiny.
Why would it leave?
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah.
Well, I think in Destiny you always felt like, oh, it's just manipulation. He doesn't give a shit about her at all. Like, I think since then you've come to
she's
see
definitely
that
proven
there's
herself.
something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So on the boat,
motherfucker.
Caesar does indeed see that Xena has Crassus.
I had a weird reaction to just Xena and Caesar, like, going down the ladder into the hold. Like, it's like this dark set. And I was like, oh man, I do feel the possibility of something happening.
What? There's so many people there.
I know, this is before I realized that Crassus is right there. But like, once they're in that space, I was like, this is intimate.
Yeah.
But it is not.
Did you miss that tiger?
A little bit, yeah. And don't forget the lion. Tiger and lion.
Yep.
So yeah, Crassus is there. You get this. I liked this beat between Caesar and Crassus. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, where like Steve Sears does not have a lot of room to like dramatize all these relationships. So this is the only scene, obviously, between Crassus and Caesar, and you get a sense of what they're like. Like, this is one leg of the triumvirate triangle.
Yeah. But specifically, like, in this situation, like, Caesar goes, captured and chained by a woman that I captured and chained.
I don't know.
Like, that was so great.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, I mean, like, in front of Xena, he said that.
Yes.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah. This is Caesar being like, this woman is, like, not worthy. And you're like, oh, shut up. That's not how you really feel.
And Crassus is in a position where he has to kind of beg Caesar almost to, like, be interested in helping him. It's like, you need me for your, like, triumvirate and stuff like that.
Yeah, he tells us what we kind of already get the sense of, which is that, it's keeping Pompey in check to have Crassus around. Without Crassus, Caesar's going to have a really angry bro on his hands. So then Caesar announces that he's throwing a party and Xena's invited as his date. Basically.
So Xena then, like, goes upstairs.
This was strange to me.
And she left these two dudes alone.
Yeah. What's she thinking? That's how little she is afraid of anything these two could plot together. She looks really good, backlit by that light from above stairs.
There's a lot of good lighting on her in this episode.
Yeah.
This episode makes...
John Lane knows how to light Xena.
But also Caesar... This is where he, like, threatens Gabrielle, right?
Yes.
Well, this is...
And he knows...
3 out of 3. Every time Caesar's here, you gotta say that line.
He has his own jar wherein you throw a coin in whenever that happens.
Yeah.
But, like, he's been watching the show, Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah, well, he met her in The Deliverer, and he saw that she fucked off from their battle and went that way.
Yeah, so he does remember.
Yeah, he definitely remembers that.
Carl Urban on the Whoosh was like, this has nothing to do with The Deliverer. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Carl?
Oh, boy, Carl.
Yeah,
maybe it just means like they're not, they're not revisiting Boadicea.
Yeah,
that's probably what he meant. Yeah, but I was like, it has everything to do with The Deliverer.
Although they sort of did in a deleted scene. Where he, like,
That's
on the way
right.
to the boat, he was like, well, got beat by Boadicea there, but, I meant to because I then came here and focused on my politics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course. When he fucks up, he meant to do that.
Yeah.
He let you beat him.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been nice in some ways to have because it's so ambiguous in the final edit of The Deliverer what actually happened there. But it's okay. We know he got beat.
Caesar tells Crassus that he should work on Gabrielle, and Xena has previously already told Gabrielle, watch out for that old Crassus, he's smart.
He's smart.
So now we're, as the audience, are kind of like on edge. We're a little worried. What's going to happen?
That Caesar adjusts his divide and conquer line, which used to just mean a woman's emotion from her sensibilities. Now it means divide Xena from Gabrielle.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. Is Gabrielle the emotions and Xena's the sensibility?
Oh my God. So now we have a really great scene between Xena and Gabrielle, where Xena divulges the plan.
Oh, yeah, and there's that sign that's like Rome, that away.
Yeah, that was a great little...
These are things that I think actually existed, which are these Roman road markers.
Yeah.
They found loads of them. I don't think they really look like that, but it's a cool detail.
I love it.
Yeah. What's the plan, guys?
So the plan is to switch Vercinix with Crassus, like in the jail cell, because Xena doubts that Caesar's actually going to go through with the public plan of trading them.
Gabrielle must do this.
Yes, right. Gabrielle is the one who actually has to make
and
this
Xena's
switch.
she's like, you must do this.
This is the important part of this scene.
Gabrielle thinks there must be more to the plan. She's very suspicious.
Yeah, she is.
And Xena calls her on
There's
it.
someone, and her name is Xena, and Xena hides plans from Gabrielle. It is a consistent trait. It's not the last time.
No, it's
and
amazing.
I love that this is a trait.
Yes,
I really
lied.
Yeah.
Well, but isn't it also because Xena's such an improviser that it's like hard for her sometimes?
Right. I mean, even when Xena tells you the plan changes, and Xena's doing something else, and you're like, shit, I would have liked a warning, but you don't get one because this is Xena we're talking about. But yeah, I liked that it's actually Xena who kind of says the thing that Gabrielle's thinking, which is, that I'll try to assassinate Caesar. That's what you think I'm not telling you. Yeah, and that Xena at least claims here to be over it.
She's like, yeah, I'm moved beyond that.
She knows it was a mistake the first time. I mean, it's unclear how much we should believe her here. I think I'm more in Gabrielle's camp where I'm like, I trust you, but I also know you.
But Gabrielle is worried that her switching Vercinix for Crassus will lead to Crassus's death.
Right. She's going to be putting him in a position to be killed.
Yeah. She actually vocalizes that.
And this is when Xena explains that Crassus is real bad because there was this village called Gardinus where he crucified men, women, and children, 100 of them, along the Appian Way, which is what happened to Spartacus's army. That's where they were crucified.
Yeah.
Daenerys Targaryen also did that.
On the Appian Way.
Yes. The Appian Way leads to Marine.
Wait, if we talk about Spartacus too much with all these ancient historical spoilers, people will be spoiled for the end of Spartacus.
Oh no, historical spoilers, no.
I think Spartacus the show knows that you've probably seen Spartacus the movie, which is...
I don't think that's true.
So? I think so. It knows that
that everyone watching Spartacus has seen Spartacus the movie.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Or at least that you know how it ends. I mean, it doesn't strike me as a show that's trying to be like, look, secret ending.
No.
Yeah.
Shocker. Xena is very, not dismissive, but just, she doesn't have time for Gabrielle worrying about this, is how I felt. She just rides off at the end of this scene, leaving Gabrielle alone.
It looked great. So this is the first of the really good dissolves I noticed, that they do these, I think they do them 3 times. And it's always something important, and they slow it down in post, not while filming. So here you had Xena right off, and she just left Gabrielle there to contemplate this moral quandary that's about to happen.
I love the way she writes off. She just hops up and is like, "Good luck, bye."
Yeah,
it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's whoa.
Well, yeah. I mean, she was basically like, "We don't really have time to talk."
Yeah.
About this.
Good luck, bye.
You trust me, right? Okay, bye.
Yeah, because she had a party to get to.
Yeah.
And this also, again, makes me think of The Deliverer, in which Xena and Gabrielle were separated for most of the episode, and you felt that in and of itself was the problem. Just the fact that these two characters weren't together, weren't paying attention to each other, were kind of treating each other as just I'm sure she's fine. I don't have to be there for her.
Yeah.
And so this at first looks like a repeat of history, which is upsetting.
I want to talk about the party because it is a good time.
There ain't no party like a Roman party, because at a Roman party they wear outfits and eat fruit. I don't know.
Is this a real thing?
I kind of went somewhere. It could have been wittier.
I thought it was.
I thought you were going to do a quote of some kind.
I thought it was like something from Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1, which I think a lot of things from this episode are from.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You gotta be right. Maybe some Life of Brian, too.
So anyway, this party is fantastic. We're like in a big room. There's a lot of like rich Romans hanging out.
There's like a big fountain. There are these banners with the SPQR, which is the Roman mantra. The house words.
Okay, cool. And we have Pompey eating some fruits, as mentioned.
Oh my God. What's he eating?
What is he
definitely
eating?
later in the
grape?
scene, he's just rolling a single cherry between his fingers. More weird finger stuff from
Oh my
Pompey.
God. How did I not really
You
register
need to
this
register
shit?
Pompey. So I know you've been calling him a bro, but I feel like he's more of a
Schmo.
like a fraternity rich dude.
I think that's what a bro is.
Well, there's a difference between bro.
I guess there are different class
class of bro.
levels
Class of bro. Yeah. This is a very specific rich bro.
Yeah. Fraternity bro.
Like a Harvard bro.
Yeah, Harvard
And he's in
bro.
red. There you go.
Oh, jeez. The worst
Burn.
kind of bro.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry
everyone
to
who went
anyone
to
who went to
Harvard.
Harvard.
Crimson.
Oh, okay. We've been schooled. So Pompey walks up to Brutus number 3.
No, this is actually Brutus number 1.
Brutus number 1 is back?
Brutus number 3 is Brutus number 1.
Oh my
I looked
God,
this up.
he's back,
They
y'all.
recast Brutus to be the first Brutus.
Oh my gosh. Well, all right. I knew he looked familiar.
So this is the Brutus from Destiny who first got to hear Divide and Conquer.
Do you think it was like the John Lang was like, I need that Brutus? 'Cause
I like
that's the episode I watched.
better.
So Pompey walks up to him and he's like, Brutus, can Xena be trusted?
What
And-
does he think the answer to that question
And Brutus is like, no.
Only in her hatred of Caesar.
Yeah. Then we have some horns played by these two torsos. These two manly torsos announce the arrival of somebody important.
Xena.
Xena, like is carried in on a litter, right?
It's beautiful.
And I didn't even notice.
It's like a throne on a litter. It's
I mean, it's
so
amazing.
good.
It's amazing. It's fantastic. Everything about it is great. And I just didn't even notice that Caesar walked in right next to her, like on foot.
That's how we want it,
crazy.
is when
Yeah.
his entrance means nothing.
Oh my God, what an entrance. Oh,
So
and
good.
She's
like,
wearing a red dress.
yes.
Excellent.
It's very similar to the Destiny dress.
I mean, it's a little bit like I like it a
covers
little less.
her more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Well, I think because she has a hat as well.
Yeah, they're different styles.
Well, I
It's
think
totally
that's to
different
be
style.
more Roman. She's got the little headdress too.
Right. But the first dress was really, really good. But I can see how like they were clearly trying to mimic. Like he saw her in a red dress, and he was like, "Here you go, put this on." And and he's in blue, and it's so the costumes are really like stand out in this scene.
They absolutely do. They're spectacular. Yeah, I love the fact that Xena's wearing red, Caesar's wearing blue. Purple is the kind of
royal
Roman color. You see it all over the arena at the end. So you add them together and you get it. We mentioned Xenaville earlier. I saw a great discussion on the Xenaville forums about this episode in which somebody put across the great theory that Xena chooses this red dress herself deliberately to fuck with Caesar. I feel like the implication from the episode is that Caesar chooses the dress, Caesar chooses this particular entrance for her, she goes along with it in her grumpy cat way. Where she's like, I gotta put up with this for my plan. But I love the idea that she might be playing into the Destiny flashback vibe to like encourage him in his, he thinks that her governing passion right now is Caesar. That's why she's really here, that it has nothing really to do with Vercinix. And she's letting him think that. Like that in the end is what this chess match is about. Like she's sort of using her real feelings to like deceive him.
Right. I mean, I like that because it's giving her agency over this, but at the same time, I also really like that Caesar is the one who decided all this to fuck with her, but it backfires on him.
It's
like,
always
that's the thing.
Such a supervillain move to be like, I have you in my clutches. Here's a dress I'd like you to wear. That's like my number one trope peeve.
Yep.
I hate that in Lost when Ben makes Kate wear
that was
dress.
an amazing scene.
It's so gross. I
It's
hate
the best.
it in
That's why
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I don't know that. Because
Extra
I only
gross,
seen
just like,
Crystal Skull.
do not put your lady captives in your special dress.
Okay,
It's
number one, it
squeaky.
really, really makes sense here, though, because they do have a very clear association. In fact, well, we already mentioned how my theory is that John Lang only watched that one and based his entire episode
Destiny,
on
you
that.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had that, like, there's a shot of Xena when she's first on the boat. It's the same shot of her, like, legs coming down the stairs.
That's right.
So there's just a lot of destiny for the audience, I think, hanging over you in this episode. And I think the same thing for Caesar and obviously for Xena. So I think he gave her this to be like, I'm fucking with you here. You're wearing this red dress. It's going to remind
You're
you
going
of
to be
this.
my date.
Was going to remind you
you're
of
gonna
when you
like
were
it.
dominated by
Yeah.
me. And it's like, it's going to backfire on Caesar.
Yeah,
So like,
which is nice. We needed this, I
Yeah.
think. We definitely need Caesar thinking that he's like the number one thing in Xena's life. We need him to be beat down from that idea. It is so not true.
So she rolls in on this litter and it's amazing. And the next scene is just her being so salty about just
love this
being
part.
here. It is incredible. I want an entire episode of Xena just eating apps.
This is me at a party.
Yeah.
Like angry at everyone eating apps.
Spitting.
Oh my god. That was Lucy in this whole episode is just so amazing.
I love the little detail that when Caesar, goes in to kiss her hand and she pulls out.
Right, yeah.
If you'll
she-
pardon the phrase. She pulls out
right
before
at the
it can
moment.
go
Yeah,
through.
exactly. So Pompey is the one who swaggers up to her.
Doing the eye sex, he like toasts her from afar, that party move.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Xena's like standing next to the serving girl with the fruit, which
Oh my
I thought was a
God,
good
yeah.
detail to
I
have
loved
this
it.
like nubile girl
Yeah.
who she's found at the party to
Right.
stand next
And
to.
it's like, because she doesn't, like, that girl doesn't know Xena. Like, she's just like a rich Roman lady who just rolled in on a litter. Like, and she's like, well, I have to stand here until she finishes eating these apps.
No,
I
and
can't
she's
go
literally
serve
just
anyone
standing
else.
there laboriously, like cutting them up into little
She's like,
pieces.
yeah, she's cutting a plum in parts. It was so funny. Pompey definitely clocked that there's an awkwardness between Xena and Caesar, so he decides to make his move here, and he rolls up behind her and asks, so why do they call you the warrior princess?
Why do they? We'd like to know too. Thanks for asking, Poppy.
And yeah, this is where she spits out the pit before she answers him. And as the caption says, spits loudly. Because Caesar was taken. Which was an amazing comeback.
It's a
honestly,
great comeback.
Honestly.
Oh, it's still funny. It's still funny that Lauma called her the
Right.
warrior
We
princess.
actually
because
do know
that,
why.
But that actually just means that she took it and was like, yes,
That's
this is
what I'm
it.
going to-
And then
is it.
went
We had
and
the theory
told
that
people.
Barias maybe was just
He-
very struck by it and
Okay.
started calling her that.
His
That
warrior
makes it
princess.
Ooh,
slightly
I like
more like I
it.
can't see Xena being like, just call me
Good.
that.
I like that. Let's go with that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's good times. I'm glad you guys have really good notes for all this part because mine is just, she looks so gorgeous. The next one is so many great close-ups of Xena's face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the red lipstick is so good.
Yeah.
I so prefer the red lippy to the dark 90s goth
Yeah.
lippy.
Well, that's the one, see, because it's just, the dark one matches her brown leather.
No.
This
It's
one
probably-
is matching
It definitely
her
makes
red
more.
dress.
I mean, if Xena had like bright red lips all the time, I would. I mean, that'd be great, but it might be confusing.
Oh, I mean, it certainly would be a statement. So Pompey proposes an alliance.
They have
Kind
a
of.
common enemy.
Yes, it's like an enemy of my enemy.
But you also feel that Pompey's trying to seduce her.
Well,
both
in his own
in
way.
his own way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for all of these triumvirate types,
Yeah.
like seduction and politics are the same thing. Being on your side, that's like fucking you.
Yeah, and also like, you know, he's seducing her with, hey, this will hurt Caesar. Don't you want to?
I know you're into that.
Yeah, don't you want to fuck me? All right, and then they bring in Vercinix.
This is funny because Brutus like announces him,
Mm-hmm.
and then the shot widens a little bit, and Caesar literally like dramatic turns like into the shot, and it is such a campy moment
Oh, no, he
from
wasn't
Carl.
expecting it.
It was glorious.
So yeah, so Vercinix is dragged in. I mean, he's paraded around
He's chained to a beam.
Yeah,
A little bit of the
and he's
crucifixion.
struggling a lot, so it's really given the Romans a spectacle. Oh, I forgot to mention the amazing extras.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the like Roman aristocrats.
Right, and then this was like when they brought in Xena. There's like a lady, very specific lady, who's just really acting Olympicsing.
Oh,
What's the expression?
Well, like
Is
the
she
camera
impressed?
pans across the shot of these, people anticipating, and then Xena comes out, and the lady's like, ah, like clap, clap,
That's how I
clap.
feel.
Yeah, it's just it's a little bit much.
This episode has my favorite extra.
Oh my
I'm
God,
so
later
excited
to
talk
come.
about
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So this lady doesn't quite react in the same way when Vercinix is brought out. But certainly everyone is watching and enjoying this spectacle.
And
Caesar,
also, this is just really gross to use a prisoner as a spectacle, and totally brings us some Spartacus realness, how they're
Yeah.
always being paraded into parties and objectified.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm the resident, let's make everything be about Game of Thrones. And we just saw, this was Euron Greyjoy parading, his captives in King's Landing.
Well, it's a huge political move,
Yeah.
and this is why Caesar needs Vercinix, is just for this, to show him to the Roman people and be like, look how awesome I am. Here's my present.
And what is it? He dominates him by throwing wine in his face.
And announces him as Vercinix the Magnus.
Oh, that was a burn to
Which
Pompey.
is a great Pompey burn. Did we talk about
We
how
did
Magnus
not.
is short for magnificent,
Yeah.
according to Xena? So funny.
Yeah, Pompey
So
calls
fucking
himself
funny.
that, and it's a title that he deserves. But here Caesar is giving it to Vercinix.
And that's how we know that Caesar is really trying to put Pompey in his place.
Yeah, and Pompey goes, So Xena reacted really strongly to this, and this is what we should be really talking about. The close-ups on her reacting to the spectacle.
She thinks it's really gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really the worst thing.
I think she was having flashbacks to herself on the cross here. As how we talked
really
about
like that.
Gabrielle having, her triggering moments. I think this is Xena.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly what Caesar said when he crucified her, but he said something like, this'll show everyone how great I am. Like, even there, it was about the spectacle, like using pain and suffering to create a visual impression.
Yeah.
So now back to Gabs and Crassus.
Yeah, so while this part is happening, Gabrielle is in charge of Crassus on the boat.
She is in charge of Crassus, but she mainly seems interested in putting a lot of pillows in her hammock.
I love her bed.
She was angrily making a bed while he was trying to incept her with doubt about Xena.
It takes her 20 minutes to load in all 40 pillows that she needs in this hammock.
She loves sleeping.
It looks really
She
comfortable.
does the sleeping. She might need it for boatness.
The boat is just still.
but no, if they're on,
Oh, it's rocking.
It would.
But they're at port. They're like tied up to it.
but I've
water
been.
still moves.
What about boat restaurants?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Oh.
Like, I've been to like a boat restaurant where like you're just having drinks
It
and like
rocks.
yeah, and it's so she would be like not happy. I don't
Okay.
think.
But what about her sea band?
I mean, she's got it under control, but maybe she needs all the pillows to like support herself.
I like this theory, because otherwise she's just spending so much time on this. Like, it doesn't seem worth that.
So she's angry at him, obviously, because she's like, "You're the worst."
And she can tell he's trying to work on her.
Yeah,
it's
with his-
obviously annoying. Like,
Yeah.
he's not being subtle at all. He's just like, yeah, it sucks to be left in the dark about plans, doesn't it? I did that to my soldiers sometimes.
Yeah.
Ooh, they hated it.
Well, the important thing I feel like in that scene, I mean, obviously this is going to be ruined later, but like you're talking about hiding plans for specific strategic reasons, otherwise there would be mutinies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
like when you choose not to tell someone something for a reason,
It's because
Yeah.
you're doing something bad
Right.
that they will disapprove
doing
of.
something bad or doing something that you know that is going to cause them to behave in a way you don't want them to for your plan, etc.
And here he kind of Gabrielle brings up how you're the worst because you crucified all those people, and he was like, yes, a regrettable incident. You know, I was totally not even there
I
when it
was
happened.
not there.
It was
So
these-
far
my
away.
soldiers. They did this, and then they were punished.
Did you guys notice that this is the exact same thing that Xena says about Sierra? I mean, she wasn't out hunting bandits, but it was her men who did Sierra.
Oh,
She didn't do it, and she feels weird about it.
Okay. Wow. Gabrielle, you know, is kind of like in the hammock, turned away from him, and but turned towards us, the camera. And I feel like we are supposed to see some doubt there in her face.
She's trying to, you know, turn her back on this story, but at the same time, like, you know, there's doubt. Of course there's doubt. If somebody says that's not what happened, Xena wasn't there. Maybe Xena believes those stories, but like, that's not me. Yeah.
He's just an innocent man. We haven't really talked about it. What do we think of Crassus?
I think he's well cast. He's the guy from, he's Orpheus in Girls Just Want to Have Fun. He's that head. That's
Is
the
he
dude.
really?
Yes.
Oh my god, that I did not pick up whatsoever.
And I think he's good in that I never trusted this dude for a second. Like, he's just not, he doesn't give off, like, nice guy. And he, you know, he just isn't a trustworthy seeming person. But at the same time, this story, I think I, like Gabrielle, had a moment where I was like, he could be right. He could be a little incompetent.
But it was like a moment, and you're like, nah.
Well, I think it's just, we're just so quick to believe anything Xena says.
He's
so-
better than Pompey, and I think this
terms
is
of
what's
what?
great. Just as a human,
Oh.
like, Pompey's really gross.
Yeah,
and
he's really
Caesar
gross.
is obviously really gross.
Those two
This guy
dudes.
seems like a better alternative, but you know, still one of them.
Yeah. But he doesn't come off like in quite the same way. But we've never really seen him like he's always a prisoner in like every shot. Like he's never, you know, like how would he be if he was a free Roman, you know, rich man? Like how
sure
would
an
his
asshole.
performance change? Yeah, because we've seen how gross Caesar and Pompey are. So yeah. Back in Caesar's palace, Xena can visit Vercinix. So she has a little scene with him.
This is where the light on her face is like,
Yeah.
just what? It does not need to be this way.
Well, the
It's
prison
so
light is very
gorgeous.
good, yes.
And now everybody needs good light in their prisons.
Oh my god.
It's very specific.
Beautiful. I don't know what's going on.
So it turns out that she's really there because she's making a copy of the prison key.
She's doing the old Autolycus trick.
Yeah,
there.
with the wax.
Yeah. So yeah, but she tells Vercinix that Mendela sent her, and he's like, my wife?
But I'm glad that Mendela got another mention. We were reminded that that was a cool character we saw for one scene.
And I like that, you know, he's reassured that they all his family made it to safety, so that's really nice.
It's going to be okay. Meanwhile, Xena sticks this copy of the key into her boobs. She's got a lot.
There's a lot hanging
in
out.
there.
Put it.
Today. It's got a whole inventory in there.
All right, now we have like a really great little moment here because after this, you know, Caesar's like, all right, enough with this.
This is my like a great place to do some romancing.
Oh my god!
What
I mean,
what a guy.
he mentioned it. He's like, I don't know if this is the right place to prison is the right place to discuss
still
this.
does it.
But holy fuck, you look good.
Well, he noticed the light
Yeah.
was so nice.
I think
He's
so.
like, wow, you look really good in this prison light.
Yeah. So I love what he said. He's like, Roman finery does become you,
It does.
which is fucking true.
Oh
Let's
my
go
God.
check out Spartacus, the show, y'all. Oh my
Yes.
God!
Nice segue.
Talk about Roman finery
Oh,
becoming
yes.
her. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Is that the best Lucy look in Roman finery?
Oh my God! When she walks in slow mo
it's
with
really
that
good.
fabric, yes, I
Patent
think
it,
so.
Rob Tappert, slow-mo fabric.
The wigs are
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
I'm into the wigs.
She looks magnificent in that
It's
program.
just fucking so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Please watch Spartacus. It's so good.
So Caesar has her kind of against a wall, of course.
We're approaching the greatest exchange in the entire show.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Basically.
Xena tells him that this is just business.
She's like, there's no time for this.
Yeah.
This is business
Come
right
on.
now.
We're-
And then he's like, it's never just business between us. It's hatred, war, conflict, and it's love.
Whoa!
What does Xena say?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Are we done yet?
Oh my God. This fucking line
It's
just...
so fucking funny.
So apparently this was a first draft thing, and then it was taken out, and Lucy was like, what? Where is it?
I mean, good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you'd miss that line and you'd remember that line.
Yeah.
So how would the scene have ended?
I don't know, but it
Just
was
her stalking away.
It was like a first draft thing, and then she
To
was like
come back-
adamant to bring it back.
Good.
Good job, Lucy.
And she would. It's so good and funny. Like, to
it's
come
so
back
perfect.
from his, like, intensity and the intense line delivery with, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like,
It's so good.
she's done with him.
But is she?
No.
Or is she just trying
Yeah.
to seem as done with him as possible? I mean,
Playing
that's
hard to get.
yeah, this episode walks that line where you love
Romantically
these
done.
moments, but you also are
Yeah.
still worried. Like, in a way, she's so over the top with the,
Yeah.
I'm not into this, that you're like, oh no, exactly how into this are you?
Exactly. So meanwhile, Gabrielle is asleep.
Surprise!
Surprise! She's very
40
comfy.
pillows
Yeah.
can do that to a girl.
And Crassus does a really cool thing, I thought.
I liked how long this sequence
Yeah.
was. It did make me care about him a little bit because I
Yeah.
was impressed. I'm always impressed when somebody, is tied up and finds some clever way to get out of it. Like, that
Yeah.
immediately earns my respect.
And this was just like a little bit like extra realism, I thought, because he drags with his foot like a little box table over, and it has candles on it. So he decides to burn away his bindings on his hands, like his ropes. And it takes a while, and he's like clearly burning his hands, and you could see that on his face. And then when he gets free, like the rope is still burning. So I thought that was really cool. And he makes it all the way up the stairs, but then, bam!
Xena just kicks him right back down.
He got Xena'd.
I like the detail, though, that he did not try to kill Gabrielle.
Yeah.
He was just leaving. I think that maybe tells you a little something about Crassus.
But that also is just like really kind of what anybody who's held captive should do. Just go away, not try to
You
do anything.
shouldn't spend any time. But, it's noticeable. He goes straight for the door.
I don't know. He kind of sucks.
He definitely
we'll
sucks.
see.
But
We
I
don't
feel
know
like
yet. Right now we're still
Yeah.
like a little confused about
he
him.
sucks in a way that's a little like less over the top, ridiculous
Okay.
bad. He's
Okay.
he's just a Roman general
Yeah.
who does his thing
Yeah.
and crucifies 100 people for no reason. maybe.
His soldiers did that.
Oh yeah.
His soldiers did
He wasn't
that.
anywhere near.
He was
it.
not
He
there.
did not inhale. Okay.
So Xena kicks him back down and then puts the pinch on him, on his neck this time.
And he says, like, you're going to kill me. I know it.
Yeah.
So I feel even here he's working on Gabrielle. He's being like, look, Xena means to kill me.
But I also
Don't
like
go with this plan.
I'm totally with this guy. Like this guy in this entire episode, like legitimately fears for his life. Like he really does believe that
As he
someone.
should.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he's like not in a place where he's comfortable, like knowing that someone's gonna rescue him. He honestly, every moment believes that someone is like gonna kill him.
Yeah, he knows that if Xena doesn't kill him, Caesar or Pompey might do it.
So she puts the pinch on him, and they tie him back up, and then she releases the pinch. So that's like 2 pinches on Crassus.
Yeah, he gets pinched a lot this app. So Xena has to break to Gabrielle the bad news, which is that Caesar has no intention of going through with their trade, and in fact, he's moved Vercinix's execution up to the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, but before we get further, like, did we? No, we didn't mention this, but I love how fast Gabrielle's like, don't kill him. When she puts the pinch on him. Like, that's really intense. Like, she thinks
She also
she's
thinks
gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
I think that shows that Crassus is getting through to her. She's
His
worried
work
about
on
him.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she doesn't quite trust Xena not to spare his life. So yeah, the change in plans basically means that it is very likely that if they make this switch, Caesar is going to execute Crassus in place of Vercinix.
Yeah, and Xena's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's like
yeah.
not really caring. You know, she once again you feel like she just doesn't have time for this. She's like, this is the plan. You're gonna have to go along with it. Gabrielle says this thing about like, how can you be so casual?
Yeah.
You're like asking me to like be a part of a murder. Like
It's about
shocking.
focus.
It's like that time in One Against an Army where she was like, push this pot of burning oil on a whole bunch of soldiers.
Yeah, we still don't know how many she killed with that.
Shit.
So Xena answers with, it's not about, being casual or whatever, it's about being focused. And
Focused on Caesar.
Yeah, what a burn!
Ooh. Drop it, Gabrielle.
Yeah, I love that
Drop
exchange.
Yeah. This is once again giving you some like rift flashbacks in that you have the two characters definitely not seeing eye to eye, definitely annoyed with each other and afraid that like the exact same mistakes that were made in the Deliverer and in the Debt are going to happen again.
Yeah, this is so good. No, it's great. That's amazing that this is happening because, you know, you have the rift seemingly over, but you can never end something like that. You can't.
And honestly, like, the emotional continuity in all these episodes, for the most part, has been, like, legitimate. Like, it's been going. It's still happening. It's still follow through.
These wounds are so fresh.
Yeah, and even, like, stuff that, you know, maybe they weren't really acting, but, like, we the audience, can't help but see it in these characters. Like, how I said that Gabrielle was triggered by the dragging. Like, that's still there, I think.
And in the end, you know, Gabrielle goes along with it this time, or at least says she will. But now I think we're in a place where we're worried that the Debt is going to happen all over again, and where Gabrielle will team up with Crassus against Xena. I think that's the fear, is that that's what will happen.
And that was like a legitimate thing that Renee was playing too. So she succeeded.
Yeah, good call.
So Gabrielle is taking Crassus now the next
Rome.
day to Rome.
All roads lead to it, so they shouldn't have any trouble finding it.
They are in these like robes, and they stop at a well because she needs some water for a thing that she's gonna do.
We don't know that. She like kind of lays his rope down on the like lip of the well, really like
stupidly.
She doesn't even like try to tie it around.
She just
something.
puts it down.
She just puts it down.
And he's like, okay, cool.
Bye!
Yeah. So he runs up, and then she throws her staff and hits him in the butt. And takes him out.
His backside again.
Oh.
How's the backside? Still hurts.
Guys,
Competent.
what do we think about this?
I think it's good.
I think it's a stretch.
Nope.
Why?
Nope.
I don't think
Vera,
having
listen.
a staff in your butt would take a grown
take you
man
out?
out like that.
He's weakened.
He's really not good.
Vera, I'm going to tell you right now, always doubts Gabrielle's abilities.
You do.
Yes,
You
she
don't
does.
think she could
I
throw
do.
that staff hard enough?
I don't think she's ready yet. I don't.
I think she got him.
I mean, she did
got
get him, but I think that's a big old stretch. Like, I don't think this man would be taken out by a butt shot with a staff.
Maybe they should have restructured the scene so he drank the drugged water and then kind of fell.
I think what she did to Shiri Appleby would work on him. Like, that would take him out. Because that's her being competent. Like, this is like a
This change
stretch.
worked really quickly. Just boom.
So-
Also, this episode, there's so much that happens in it. They didn't have room for a fight here. They really...
She could have just hit
This
him.
episode is like literally cut to within an inch of its life. I mean, it's done
so
so
full.
well.
Yeah, it's really... But
This,
it's
I think,
really
might be the
good.
most dense Xena episode because
Yeah.
there's so many interesting characters. There's a lot of plot. Like, you know, both Xena and Gabrielle have these really compelling inner struggles that are happening, and they're very separate.
It's crazy because they literally introduce like 3 major characters.
Yeah.
Well, like 2, I suppose, and Vercinix.
Sure.
I mean, he can count, but he never.
but I mean, he had that great scene at the beginning to make you care about
So
it.
it's like 3 huge.
He's not a
dudes.
non-entity. Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Crassus and Pompey.
Like
who
those are
both
huge
distinct.
dudes.
Yeah. And then you also set up Rome as a place and everything that's going on there. So yeah, I mean, I think this may be my favorite Steve Sears episode, just in terms of the ambition. Like, I just think just the fact that he managed to get so much done here is really amazing.
He seems to be their like resident guy for, you know, ancient Roman Xena-esque episodes.
Right, because he wrote The Deliverer as well. I just think it has a lot of great world building. Like, it has this awesome, juicy stuff for Xena and Gabrielle. Like, it ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
And I think that's really impressive.
So Gabrielle gets Crassus back and under control, and you know, reassures him once again that he's not going to be killed.
Well, here
'cause-
she actually gives him the plan for how she plans to save his life, which is she'll give him back the ring, which she now has.
Yes.
And he can show that to the guards, prove his identity to them, and they won't let him get executed.
And then she drops some Alka-Seltzer into the water and makes him drink it.
And he says, I underestimated you, thank you. So you're like, oh, they have teamed up. But it's in a way where I don't think Xena would get mad.
He also has that line to her about her regard for life, no matter whose.
Yes.
Which is a big one to throw at her face.
Yes, that is a big one. And I mean, you feel like he's speaking for the audience there. We know that's something that is true of Gabrielle. I think I, as a viewer, was rooting for her to give him this ring and save him. I was like, that's who Gabrielle is. I hope that happens. That's like the positive outcome for me.
Yeah. So meanwhile, at Caesar's palace, Xena walks in again, and she finds a dagger kind of like hanging out on a table, and she's inspecting it.
Like, this is a nice dagger.
That's exactly what Pompey says. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of like double
Yeah,
entendres
there is.
then
Don't
about
even-
his dagger.
If you're anything like me, you feel naked without a weapon.
Does he caress his face?
Not that I noticed in this scene. He was holding back. He has this great line where he's explaining Caesar's plan. He's actually not targeting Crassus. He's targeting Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Because Caesar has perceived that she has some kind of power over you, and he wants that power.
I loved it.
Great
I loved
line.
it.
That is just the juiciest thing. Pompey is basically saying, Xena, take this dagger and assassinate Caesar for me, because if you do, I'll be in charge. I'll release Vercinix and be your best friend. I'll never betray you, promise. Cross my heart.
I mean, I like it. I think it was a very believable move.
Yeah, I mean,
By
it's
Pompey.
great. It's great
Yeah.
to see, Caesar is in, like, a den of snakes. Do snakes have dens?
Think so? I don't know.
Pit of snakes, den of wolves. He's
Yes.
in both of those.
A snake hole.
But, like, I love that in the end, we know that Caesar is not going to be killed by Xena, because historical spoilers, that's not what happened. Like, we know that Rome will kill him, Rome is a dangerous place.
But do we know that? Like, has Xena the show proven that it won't change history?
I mean, it's true. Like with Crassus, there's maybe some elegant way of having Xena be one of those hooded people on the Ides of March who stabs him. I mean, they definitely could have done
I feel
a
like
kind
it
of revisionist
so far
take.
hasn't. I mean, I love that they don't really change it. Like, that they kind of stick to it in their own roundabout way. But it is like, they could have easily been changing history left and right.
Yeah.
Like, with Xena doing everything or whatever.
But I think this is just, it's just juicy. I
Yeah.
like the whole conception of Rome as a place where you can't trust anyone. Everybody kind of sucks. It's not like Caesar is this one outlier in this city of regular people. He's just one of many who are all basically trying to do the same shit, profit off each other, stab each other in the back. So I like that Pompey is just basically Caesar Mach 2.
Yeah.
I think Xena knows that and is just kind of like, okay, you can stay around, because I think having you around will help me with Caesar.
She takes the knife. So.
Yeah, she does take the knife.
All right, so Gabrielle and Crassus pull the old, like, she's done this with Autolycus a million times, the old drunken routine
It's
in the
never
square.
been quite so good, though.
Well, he's actually drugged.
He's drugged, so he's staggering around.
Yeah.
But, like, her drunken routine was perfect.
So cute.
She's been working on it.
It was so adorable. When she's like, I ain't never been drunk and bit drunk.
Drunk.
So they get thrown into jail, which is exactly where they want to be. And as soon as they're in the cell, she's like, Vercinix, I'm going to get you out.
You're gonna walk out of here tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I love that he's a little dubious. He's like, huh, bitch, you crazy.
I mean, yeah, he would be, I think. Interior, Caesar's chambers, night.
Not Caesar's palace.
Caesar's palace,
Caesar's
chambers.
Caesar's desk. Caesar's chair. Caesar's pen.
Yeah, feather
Caesar's
pen.
proclamation.
Yeah, so he's working on some papers there at his
He's got
desk.
this big scale in front of him. I was trying to figure out what was on the scale, and I couldn't tell. But something's weighing it down. It's a really funny set. It doesn't look real. It looks like it's a thing he assembled there to look like he keeps busy.
I'm sure that's exactly why it's there. So in the background, there's a big old window, and through that window, in comes Xena. She jumps right up there
Crouching.
with the knife between her teeth.
Very debt-esque.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish she was naked.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
That one really served her plan very
I
well.
just love when she's assassinating via nakedness. It's just so cool.
Well, I like that she flew into this window.
Yeah.
You know this isn't on the ground floor.
So, like, do you think she was trying to kill him?
No.
No.
She's like going up
It's not
there.
part of the plan.
She got that knife raised,
Yeah, it's not part of the plan.
or did she?
She knows she's
She
gonna
knows.
get. Yeah.
She knows it's like, I mean, I guess.
He has guards.
Xena improv, so I guess if for some reason he was just in that room unguarded, it would never happen. She probably would just kill him. But of course he's surrounded by guards, and he expects her to do this.
Yeah. So he knows that she's right there, turns around, and the guards capture her.
I love that, like, during the whole process of capturing her and, like, getting her to, like, be still, Caesar just stays seated in his chair, just, like, peeks behind him, but just, like, is sitting down.
Yeah.
He only stands up once she's, like, down for the count.
So she's thrown into the same jail cell as Vercinix, and once all the guards leave, you know, she's like, Gabrielle, and there's Gabrielle.
And you realize that this is all part of the
all
plan.
part of
She
the
wanted to be
plan.
in that same jail as
Yeah.
Vercinix and Gabs and Crassus.
Gabrielle throws the key, so they're all set.
Zena's so happy when she sees Gabrielle's
Yeah.
face. Oh, she just lights up. Oh, it's cute.
And it means that Gabrielle listened to her and followed the plan. I think maybe Xena had actual doubts that it was going to happen. She thought maybe Gabrielle had lost faith in her.
The next morning, Caesar's games begin. He's staged his
The
big
Hunger
old...
Games?
Yeah, basically. Circus Maximus.
Yeah, for sure. Blood and circus.
Yeah, he's staged big old gladiator games, and he's going to have Xena fight some gladiators, and then presumably be killed in the ring, and then he's going to execute Vercinix, and it's going to be awesome.
This is kind of the climax of the little thread line in this episode about spectacle. You keep having Caesar talking about that, and now here you see, like, the ultimate bloody spectacle, which of course is a gladiatorial game.
It looked really impressive.
It's amazing
Yeah.
that they achieved this. I mean, you can kind of tell that there's some, like, copy pasta happening
Sure.
with those background extras and, like, with the, you know, enlarging the size of that arena. But it's done well, and I think it's done in a way where you, like, kind of pardon the ropiness. Like, it works. Like, you're not really looking at it being like, that's a special effect. You're
No.
looking at it being like, wow, it's a big-ass arena.
Good.
I mean, you know, they did a good job. They fix it later in Spartacus.
Oh my god. Guys, watch Spartacus.
Yeah,
no,
I couldn't
no,
help
seriously, I actually really want to do like a big ass plug for Spartacus because
No,
I feel
it's
like
so
people
good.
can be like put off from it, and certainly before I watched Xena, I hadn't seen it, and it is legitimately wonderful. And if you think it's just like gonna be, I don't know what the right word is, like
Exploited.
300-esque like cable like it's not at
Boobs
all.
and
It's very,
blood.
and it's from these people who are making this show, and we know that they're all amazing, smart, creative, awesome people, and everything is very smart. So please just watch it, and if you're off put by the first episode, just keep going.
It's Lucy Lawless's, you know, other show besides Xena so
Yeah,
far.
it's such an indelible
It's
character.
amazing role.
Yeah, and is it literally like her character is incredible.
Yeah, no,
One of
yeah.
the best parts
Yeah.
of the show, if not the best part
No.
of
Yeah,
the show.
of course, it's the
Yeah.
best part of the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
But
best.
honestly, it's like a really rich character
Yeah.
that really deserves your eyeballs on it. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, seriously, please. Sorry.
So back to the gladiator games here. Xena is taken out of the cell. She's going to be presented in the arena, and we see that Crassus has been switched with Vercinix. Vercinix is now playing as a guard, like he's dressed as a guard.
Because they, like, beat up a guard
Yeah.
in the jail cell.
Yeah, and the plan is that there's some horses like waiting nearby, and they're going to escape. Like as soon as Gabrielle gives the signal to Xena, like they'll all escape.
They all escape. They need,
Yeah.
like, the time spent in executing fake Vercinix
Right,
is when
'cause,
they're going to GTFO.
all of Rome's eyes will be on that, so that's how they can escape. And meanwhile,
It's a good plan. I think this episode is good in that the plot comes together in a way where you get it. You get why it needs to proceed the way it's proceeding, because that's the only way, like, these characters can escape. It could have, I think, if they hadn't put it together that well. It could have felt kind of arbitrary, like why does this need to happen? But you get it. You get why the timing would be the way it is.
Meanwhile, Caesar takes out that dagger.
Oh, this is such a great little beat.
Yeah.
He like throws the dagger down at Pompey's hand, which is like reaching for his goblet of Gatorade while he watches the match, and is like, I believe that's your dagger.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
he
a
knows
good little moment.
that it was Pompey.
I mean, Pompey, to be fair, it's not like he's like trying to keep his like hatred of Caesar a secret. He's pretty upfront about him being a little shit.
So the games begin, and Caesar presents Xena as an enemy of Rome and an ally to Gaul, and she is in the ring now.
I like that the guards like force her to her knees before
Yes.
Caesar. It is like you're like, oh, how dare
I
you?
love it.
And you have like all of the the crowd booing her.
Yeah.
Like it's very epic just seeing Xena in this environment. It's like totally cool.
Yeah, it's even cooler when she has to fight these two dudes on horses.
I just feel
Very
like
grand
just
scale.
2 dudes, I was a little disappointed. I felt like they could have done a little more.
You want? Yeah, I don't
I
know.
wanted Xena to
wanted
fight
an entire army.
there.
We've done that.
But I mean, maybe this is actually Spartacus's influence. Where I'm like, oh, there have been so many they've thought of so many cool ways to jazz up the action in the arena.
I'm pretty sure they couldn't afford
Yeah.
a CG animal of any kind.
I mean, the fact that Xena
a
fights
tiger
2 guys
or
on
a lion
horses is pretty impressive. I mean, it's rare we actually see a fight that proceeds that way. You know, these are real horses that they have in there, and these are stunt riders. Like, it looks good. But it's just one of those things where the scale of the set is so grand that when the actual action is just like, Xena, guy on a horse, you're like, okay.
I mean, it was cool. Like they did the old like throwing the net on her,
They
which is
loved
always
nets
a
this
huge.
episode.
But that's like from Spartacus. Like that was like a
3
huge
people
thing.
got netted this episode.
Yeah, nets really take you out apparently.
Yeah.
I loved how mostly the stunts in the ring were awesome. Like there was a lot of like slow-mo.
Yeah, it looked
like,
really good.
You know, like really legitimate, like filmed slow-mo kind of stuff of Xena, like taken out a little bit by these guys.
I was fooled by this because I
yes.
totally thought she was giving it her all, and I was
No.
like, "Oh my god, these guys are getting the best of her! Like, I can't believe this is happening!"
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the reveal.
Yeah.
When she's in the net, she kind of wriggles out of it and sees Gabrielle in the stands trying to get her attention.
Like, oh, phew.
Which is
Yeah.
so funny, Gabrielle being like, "Hey, Xena!" Like,
Oh my
wait,
God, yeah, that was the
this
best.
giant
That
arena,
was
but
the
she's
best.
like,
Jumping
"Hey,
up and down."
over here." Then she unleashes, and you know that she's unleashed because of the Warrior Princess music. Once
Yeah,
again.
which we were asking about.
That's when she always like kicks up the nitrous gas and she's ready to roll. But like we didn't mention how she got dragged herself there in the ring a little
That's
bit.
right.
via the
Yeah,
net.
in the net. Yeah.
So once she does get, the warrior princess like nitrous moment, that's when like the silly looking stuff starts happening. Where she's like flying
Vera,
around.
that's when Xena's in her element. Is when she starts flipping. What's wrong
I
with
know.
you?
But like what I loved was when she literally took down a guy on a horse.
Right, but she
pulled
pulled
it
it down.
down.
Oh my
She pulled
God.
a whole horse down.
That was
amazing.
incredible.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So we should rewind for a bit.
Yes.
To Gabrielle and Vercinix in the jail cell. Mm-hmm. Gabrielle's like, wait a moment, I gotta put this ring on Crassus to save his life. And I thought Vercinix's reaction here was really great. This was like a good character moment.
Yeah.
Where he wants to stop her, but then stops himself. It's like, no, you know what? You've
like,
saved my life.
Yeah.
You do you.
I'll let you make your own decision. This guy sucks, and he killed my niece and like everyone I know. But like, I will let you do this. I was like,
so-
this guy's really a prince.
Crassus was being a
And he's beautiful.
liar.
He's a beautiful prince who lets women make their own choices.
Oh my gosh, he's the best.
Crassus lied.
Yes,
He
yes,
did
I lied.
All of the crucifying and horribleness at Gardinus.
So we
So-
see Gabrielle with the ring thinking. I don't think we see her actually make the choice.
No.
But is this another one of the dissolves that you were talking about? The good dissolve?
Well, I don't think so. The big one is later on Gabrielle and versus like the look with Xena and
Yes,
Vercinix.
that is a good one. I do just love, there are quite a few scenes in this episode that just end with Gabrielle on her own thinking,
yeah.
kind of weighing the choices. And I think it really is a signal to the viewer that this episode, despite being full of so many plots, so many things, Xena's doing some really cool shit all the time. She's dealing with her feelings for Caesar. It's all important. But you feel that in these moments of Gabrielle alone, like, what this episode hinges on is Gabrielle's story. Like,
Yeah.
she is the central figure. So all of these shots of her that end scenes, like, you're like, oh yeah, this is where it's at.
Exactly. And that's why we were so impressed with that first shot that we talked about at the beginning, because, you know, when it lets her think about the deliverer and the stuff that happened to her there, the whole scene is two other people talking, and in a normal show you would just see those two people talking, not like give the focus to her. So that immediately puts you in that mindset.
Yeah, that her thoughts and feelings are never forgotten.
Even though she's not necessarily expressing them all the time, they're still very much foregrounded.
Yeah, I love it.
So, okay, back to the arena.
Xena, took one guy out. She's now left with the other guy, and she's about to kill him.
And the whole crowd is doing the thumbs down.
Yeah, they're like so into it. They're like, yeah, give us
Siskel and
more.
Ebert. We didn't like this movie.
Like, I think she was going to do it until she saw...
Her default is, I kill the person. So, like, she only rethinks it when she realizes that this is Rome and that, like, blood is what they do for fun.
Right.
And I love that. I love that this is the first time you've really... Well, I mean, you've seen Xena decide not to kill people a lot of times, but I felt just like in a regular fight with like, a random extra who tried to kill her. She
would have totally killed this guy, yeah. I mean, she was literally ready to do it, but like she's like, I do it when I want to, not when you want me to.
Yeah, well, she's not cool in having violence as a spectacle, which I think is really interesting considering, we're watching a television show, like, it's spectacle. Like, the violence is meant to be fun to look at for us. And here suddenly the character has been made aware, there are people looking and enjoying this. Well, fuck that. Yeah. I want no part of that.
So she plunges her sword in the sand and everyone's disappointed.
Especially Caesar. I love his little miffed face. He's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I love all the shots of him laughing.
God. Yeah, it was so many great reaction gifts. Yeah. This scene of just Caesar, like, with his goblet, kind of, like, lounging, being like, ha, 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 ha.
So he's like, all right, fine, we'll move on to something that the people will also, they'll enjoy it. So let's do the execution of Vercinix next.
This is, I think, significant too, thinking about Xena saving that guy, which is she really puts the pressure on Caesar to execute Vercinix, whoever he happens to be. Yeah. Like, in a way, her doing this, it's not just to, like, save, like, tell Rome, no, don't enjoy this stuff. It's bad.
I don't think she was thinking that. I honestly think it was improv moment.
She needs Caesar to, like, have to spill blood. She can't spare this guy and then have Caesar spare Crassus. The crowd will want their money back.
Right, but I mean, I think it just like works out in her favor here. I don't think she was thinking that far ahead while she was fighting that dude, because I do think she was going to kill him.
It is interesting to have, in this episode where Gabrielle goes through with an indirect murder, you have Xena choose not to kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly what meaning there is in that, but I like that symmetry. And it shows how the characters are evolving. They're kind of going on opposite journeys. Like, Xena's learning sometimes you don't kill people. Gabs is learning sometimes you do.
Yeah, exactly. I like that, yeah. So, quote-unquote, Vercinix is brought out. And he's still, like, kind of, groggy, but as the scene goes on, Crassus kind of starts regaining himself, and he literally, like, when he's about to be put on that chopping block,
he's like, Crassus, Crassus, where's my ring?
Yeah, get the ring, show the ring.
Meanwhile, you have Caesar and Pompey. Their reactions are both great. Like, Pompey goes to his feet, is sort of like, oh shit,
but he starts laughing, right?
Yeah, he thinks it's hysterical. Yeah. He's into it, and Caesar is more like kind of annoyed, like, and hesitant. I think Caesar does not want to have to do this, but he knows he's going to.
Yeah, because the whole episode, he's been talking about how, like, the people, I gotta give the people what they want. People
the
love
most important
me.
Thing.
You gotta control the people, and then they'll give you everything.
He also says they're sheep.
Yes.
He has such disdain for them.
Yeah, but, like, here in this position, like, he has to go through with it. And that's what Pompey says. He's like, well, Caesar, give the people what they want.
And of course, Caesar hates to have to do anything. The fact that Caesar's forced to do something is immediately very emasculating for him.
Absolutely.
Good point.
So Crassus calling out for his ring. Suddenly a light flashes in the stands.
And we cut to see my favorite extra
Oh, man.
of all time, ruining and also elevating this amazing moment of Gabrielle with the ring. There's a dude in the right side of the frame.
Bottom right.
Right.
Oh, man.
Just giving it 110% with the cheering and the happiness.
Yeah, this guy literally is
so happy to be there.
Out of the history of the world.
Oh my God. This is my favorite extra on Xena, Warrior Princess.
And they clearly loved him so much, they put him in this hero shot with Gabrielle.
Oh, man.
Do you think they were like, oh no.
Let's get only the very best ones in there. That dude is into it.
There's a fun lady next to him as well, but she doesn't feature as prominently.
Yeah. Well, this dude distracts you from her.
Yeah, but not from Gabrielle, who we should be talking about.
Yeah, this is a moment.
So Crassus, like, I weirdly get like some kind of claustrophobic like feeling from this, because I do think that this is really, really rough.
Oh,
like
he sees his salvation. It's right there.
Nobody knows who he is unless he has a big old ring on him. Like, that's crazy.
And Gabrielle did not put a ring on it. She didn't like it.
Not. And they don't even know the difference between, like, Vercinix and him. Like, that's the thing, right?
He's
People don't know.
as Rome's worst enemy, and he's part of the Triumvirate. And it's delicious irony.
So he's really, like, screaming. He's screaming at Caesar to tell him who he is. He's screaming at Gabrielle to tell him, show the ring. So it's like anybody who knows him, but nobody listens, right?
I love how Gabrielle has her arms folded in front of her. It's almost like a protective gesture, like she's giving herself a hug. Yeah. So, it's obviously so he can see the ring, but at the same time, there is something a little vulnerable about it. Like, it's not like she's, like, holding it up, being like, fuck you, motherfucker!
It almost is... It almost could be read like she's not even doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't know the sun would hit it at just that age.
You mentioned a really interesting
thing. She's doing it on purpose, to be honest.
But I think she's there. She knows, she previously was able to get Xena's attention from that place in the stands.
She knows,
but she waved at Xena. She was like, "Well, Xena!"
But I feel like the fact that she is present and that, she sort of shows her face to him. I feel like this is very deliberate on her part, being like, I want him to see me and know that this wasn't a mistake.
I
chose to do
I don't think so. Okay, so two things. One, why is she wearing the ring on her thumb, right? That's a good question.
Oh, I didn't notice she was wearing it.
Yes, it's a thumb ring. Because in the previous draft, she was giving the thumbs down.
Oh my god. I'm glad they took that out.
Yeah, so they took that out. I like that she's wearing it on her thumb because I think that's the biggest finger on her little lady hand that can handle this ring.
That makes sense.
But also that I think she wasn't at all I think she wanted to remain anonymous in the audience there. I don't think she was trying to have him see her.
But why wear the ring at all?
Because she had the ring and didn't want to.
The easiest. She didn't have any more room in the boob.
Yeah, the boobs are full of the Xena doll. Remember? So
it's for us.
Yeah, it's for us.
It's for us.
So she was gonna stand there, right? And it's just the fact that the sun glinted off of it.
I like it, but I also like the idea that it must occur to her that he may see her, and I feel like she doesn't seek it out, but that possibility is there, and that.
But if he doesn't see her, right?
Yeah.
She, from her vantage point, can always assume that he saw her because she doesn't know what he sees. It's just the fact that we, the audience, can see that he can tell.
I guess it depends. Is she present in the stands so that he can see her, or is she present in the stands so that she can bear witness to this?
I think she doesn't
see him.
It's what Ned Stark said. The person who passes the sentence has to swing the sword,
but she doesn't do either.
She tries to, but can't.
You think it's too much?
I think she leaves, and it happens as she's going, and we don't see it. And
she freezes when the blade comes down.
Yeah, that's such a good moment.
That's a good moment. Yeah, and you can see that extra.
Oh, you can see him. Oh, yes.
Oh, man, he's pulling focus even in this big emotional moment.
It was a mistake getting that guy.
I love him, though. I truly love this
So
guy.
yeah, and then you have like Gabrielle clocking Xena and Vercinix,
who have
like,
come back to look for her. And
And
the looks
that's where
on
the
their
dissolve
faces
is.
are great. Xena looks so heartbroken, like so upset. And Gabrielle does not. I mean, certainly not nearly as upset as Xena. Gabrielle looks determined in a way. Again, there's this vulnerability definitely present. I love those shots of her walking through the crowd and you have the over the top, everybody's cheering and Gabrielle's just this silent person cutting through them. Like I thought that the music there is really beautiful. This just old Hollywood music that makes you go, oh, I have emotions. And yeah, the fact that Gabrielle doesn't feel what everybody else is feeling, but at the same time isn't, I don't know. Yeah, she's not as openly emotional as you might expect her to be, considering everything that character used to represent.
Yeah, it's a little unreadable.
Yeah.
I think
you're right. Yeah, there's something slightly ambiguous about it, which I think is really interesting.
Does the next scene help?
It does help.
Figuring out
her
mindset?
Just enough, I think. You don't want too much. I don't, I like when the show lets you read these things different ways. Like, is Gabrielle pleased that she was able to do this, or is Gabrielle really upset, or can you be both at once?
So we're back on the boat. So slow-mo boat shot.
Motherfucker.
And we have Gabrielle and Xena kind of like have their little scene together. She's leaning over the side of the boat.
You have this beautiful light from the water playing on both their faces. More nice lighting.
Seriously, so good.
And Gabrielle has the ring in her hands, and she's like contemplating this ring.
Gave me a little bit of Lord of the Ringsy vibes.
Yeah,
this evil ring.
I think so.
Fuck you,
I
ring.
liked it. Yeah. So Gabrielle says, "I did something that I never thought I'd be able to do, and that is play Judge Dredd before Carl Urban does." Because she says she played judge, jury, and executioner.
Which is funny, because there was an executioner and it wasn't her.
Well, I mean, she did. She definitely did. Yeah, she did it.
But yeah, this is a huge step. Can we go back to like what I was saying earlier in the episode where I was like not rooting for her to do this? Like I did not want this to happen. And I was sad that it did. And I still feel that way, I think, seeing it again.
It's upsetting.
Yeah, even though I know this is like an integral part of Gabrielle's journey and that a lot of the mistake she made over the course of the rift was because she had this absolutist idea of what constitutes like good action.
Right.
Here she's way more nuanced about it. She's presented with evidence, that Crassus is responsible for Gardinus and says, well, okay, this is a very dangerous person. He should not get to live. Like, she makes that choice. I don't think anybody thinks she made the wrong choice there, but there's still just something so heartbreaking to me that she had to do this. I'm Team Xena in this scene where, like, everything Xena says about, like, I shouldn't have put you in this position, like, this isn't who you are. I can't help but be like, yeah, no.
I mean, it's really heartbreaking. I remember when we were watching it, I was like, oh my God. I mean, like, she killed this dude. It's a natural step in her evolution, but at the same time, it's really rough. Like, she didn't have to do it. She did it. It was
Putting
good.
it in contrast to Xena having just spared someone to see Gabrielle, it hurts more.
I mean, I don't know. It's really weird because like we should feel bad every time Xena kills a goon. Like we should.
I do
like,
a bit.
We don't.
I think you notice though that I love that those people on IMDb keep track of how many people she
I
killed.
think
They
One
stopped
Against the
after
Army
One Against
broke
an Army.
them.
Oh man, that's true. One Against an Army.
And
well, we know it was 300 people. Can't you just add 300 to the count?
But they do keep track of Gabrielle now. Although the people who died from
the
burning oil,
Yeah.
I mean that's like maybe 30 people.
But yeah, I mean, this feels a little more cold-blooded, in part because I think of her impenetrable reaction to it, and the fact that she is there, that she decides to witness it. I mean, it's very, on the one hand, it does feel like she's taking responsibility for it, but this is an episode in which witnessing violence as spectacle, like you shouldn't want to watch this stuff, and like Gabrielle makes the choice to watch it. Yeah. It's upsetting.
It's really good. I'm glad it went there, and I love it.
I mean, every single line in this scene is important.
Yeah.
Literally every single one.
Let's go through them.
Okay, go for it.
So after that Judge Dredd line of Vera's, Xena says, "You only did what I told you to." which again seems important. Xena's like, no, like, you don't blame yourself for this. Like, I did this. I put you in the position where you had to do this. And Gabrielle basically says, no, like, don't take that choice away from me. Like, that was my choice. I made it.
Right.
That to me seems important. I feel like Xena in this scene a little bit, and yeah, and then in her next line, she says some stuff to this effect too, where she's like, it wasn't right for you, that's not who you are. There's a lot of Xena trying to tell Gabrielle who she is.
Yeah.
Versus what Gabrielle, you know, according to Xena, you create yourself every day. And like, I feel like Gabrielle is asserting her right to do that. Like, you know, I made this choice. This is what I thought was right. I know you think I'm the kind of person who doesn't do this stuff. I'm telling you that now
Maybe I am.
But it's also a catch-22 because she says that, you know, if you didn't include me in this plan, I would be mad at you.
Yeah, I love that.
And like the fact, you know, now you did, and I'm like upset because I did a murder. So it's like, it's rough either way.
Well, this is such a, you know, big issue for the show always, which is the fact that Gabrielle has chosen from the get-go to travel with Xena and love Xena. And, you know, it's so, like, corrosive. Like, her whole, you know, personality changes because she did that. And, like, she loses her innocence. And it feels tragic, even as you're like, oh, well, she becomes this stronger, you know, awesome warrior. But you're like, oh, that little girl in Potidia, like, what happened to her? And, like, she wants to be there. And you know that this is, like, a trade that she's willing to make. But it doesn't stop it from hurting.
And hurting both of them.
And yeah, you see now that for Xena, like, the choice then becomes, well, if this person has chosen to travel with me, even though it's hurting her, like, what's my responsibility here?
Yeah.
Like, do I keep her with me or do I leave her?
And this is going to come up so much.
Oh my God.
In your faves, everyone's faves.
In some delicious, delicious drama. Yeah, I think we flagged some stuff in What Against an Army is setting up second half of the show issues. This, to me, I mean, it obviously has been a big part of the first half, but becomes even more pressing as a concern as Gabrielle matures as a warrior.
Yeah. It's all, like, it's all really overt, but I feel like it's all really important to have them acknowledge it out loud to each other, that these are problems that they are causing one another. But also, let's not leave the scene without talking about Xena, like, grabbing Gabrielle's head so adorably.
Yeah.
And, like, all the touching, so much touching.
First, there's like an exchange of I love yous, or maybe it comes after the touching. But
Xena says that Gabrielle is the most dear thing to her in all the world.
That's really good.
And yet, like, instead of protecting you, like, she doesn't complete that sentence. Gabrielle interrupts and says, I'm here because I want to be here. I love you.
I love you, Xena.
Yeah, I like that that's not just like an I love you kind of just because. It's an I love you, like, explaining. Like, this is why I make this choice.
Yeah.
So Xena touches her hand, and as soon as she touches her hand,
she drops the heart of the ocean.
Oh.
That was perfect. Oh my God, you've been
here,
great, Gloria Stewart.
Wherever you are,
I believe that the goes.
Or the
We'll
ring.
go on. We'll go on.
I forgot the words to My Heart Will Go On.
Your favorite movie?
I'm ashamed of myself.
Well, anyway.
Well, the ring, Lord of the Rings ring, was a much better.
Yeah.
You prefer that to the Heart of the Ocean?
Yeah, it doesn't
Well, that's
make
just
any
how
sense.
Frodo drops it into the lava. He goes,
Anyway,
I believe he got his finger chewed up.
Well, while we're talking about that, also the way that Gabrielle is holding Xena's hand, like, in her two hands, is so good.
It's really good. I like that there isn't actually, like, a close-up of it.
Yeah.
It's just sort of there.
Yeah.
You sense it more than you see it.
it's just like the subtext.
Yep.
You sense it.
But you also see it.
Yeah.
With your eyes.
definitely
And
see
hear
it.
it with your
They just
ears.
went, I love you.
Because they're like, I love you and I love you. It's
Yeah.
pretty overt.
It's really great.
It's pretty texty.
Let's talk a little bit about, like, the ring in falling into the water, because this is a reference to Dreamworker, the end of Dreamworker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good. It's the rock falling into the pond.
This is an intentional reference by Steve.
Because that's right. That's a
Yes.
Steve episode. Ah,
Steve does the gabs.
10 points to Steve. That's
Yeah.
hardcore. Oh, that's going to make a great gift set. Thanks, Steve.
Well, yeah, so that's good stuff there. So that's always there now.
So
for
here, Gabrielle becomes the water, and the ring is that, you know, that murder.
Yep, it's always
Disturbing
there. Yeah,
the surface of the water.
which is interesting because I read the scene as like as soon as Xena touches her hand, she can let go. She can let go of this
the
thing
guilt.
that she did. Yeah. But like no, it's still there.
I think
it's always
that's
gonna be
also
there.
good reading as
Yeah.
well.
Again, I think that's what's so great about this whole fallout is you feel like you can read it both ways. She lets go, but it's still there. She feels bad, but she's also very kind of determined and okay with it. Like you do feel that this is a very different action than what she did in The Deliverer or in The Dead or in Maternal Instincts. Like here is an example of something where she's just like, this was necessary, it hurts, but it's like a necessary hurt. And in a way that's even harder for an audience member to see. So a character who does a bad thing and says, yes, I did it, and I needed to do it.
This was a great episode.
It's really good.
I think this is definitely in my top 10. I just think it's so impressive. Like I feel like there were so many ways this could have fallen apart. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Yeah,
very
and the fact that you come out of it kind of interested in everything, in Xena and Caesar, in Pompey, even in Crassus and Gabs there, all these different relationships, and they all had a little bit of depth, a little bit of interest. Yeah, and Vercinix, super hot, super nice.
God, Vercinix.
Too bad he didn't come back. He
comes back in that look, but as a different character.
Oh, yes.
So he's
I
still
remember
hot.
that.
He's still hot.
Still hot.
Still works.
But I would have liked Vercinix and Mendela back. They seem cool.
Yeah, they are gone. They're
Gone
hanging out
forever.
with Boadicea. So one more really weird thing about this episode, I read that Steve Sears based it on Ross Perot.
What?
Ross Perot funded a rescue of 2 of his workers from his company that were captured in Iran, like a year before. Remember the movie Argo?
Yes.
Not Argo the horse.
Yeah. Confusing.
So like that's a lot of people got captured in Iran in 1978 to 1979. So this was like 2 guys that from his company, executives that were captured. So he created this hired this team of commandos to like rescue them. So Steve was like, you know what, let's do that.
Vercinix is...
Yeah, so it's like Xena going into Rome to rescue somebody. So he was like, let's do that.
Interesting.
That's a really interesting
very
roundabout
specific reference to use. I mean, I think it's a great setup.
Yeah.
A classic setup in some ways. Like how else to get Xena into Rome?
Yeah.
You don't just want her there to fuck with Caesar. You want there to be a good reason for it.
Yeah.
And there is. I think this episode really gets away with it.
I liked it, yeah. So, I think we did it.
Yeah.
We covered this episode.
We
A
did
good
as the
one.
Romans did,
We
which
sure
was
did.
commit murders.
I loved this episode. I think we decided
Yeah.
that we all really enjoyed it.
Yeah, legit.
It's in your top 10, right, Olivia?
Yeah,
You
for
just
sure.
said, or something like that.
Yep,
It's an up there one.
up
It's a
there.
really great episode.
And this isn't a season loaded with huge episodes. And, this one almost, I feel like, sidles in. You've just done Maternal Instincts, Bittersweet, and One Against an Army, had your little 2-episode break, and then this comes, and it's up there with them, I think. It absolutely rivals them, even though it's not officially part of the Rift. I think it's doing such incredible emotional work. Also with it squeezes in all the plot of The Dead, but into one episode.
Wow.
So it's really impressive.
Yeah, now you make me want this as a 2-parter.
Yeah, it would have been a great
I mean,
two-parter.
yeah, legit.
But you get through it and you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It's not one of those episodes where you're like, oh, they needed more time, the way Return of Callisto was.
Yeah.
Here you're like, you got enough time with everything. It all works.
Good stuff.
All right, so that takes care of that. And you can follow us on the stuff.
Oh, yes. You can find everything you need ever at www.xenawarriorpodcast.com. That's where you can find the link to our Patreon. You can listen to episodes. Please subscribe on iTunes or, as they say, Apple Podcasts. You can rate and leave reviews over there. We always love to hear from you. And we're doing lots of stuff on Twitter at XenaWarriorPod, and then find us on Twitter. No, I said Twitter already. So Tumblr. That's the other one with the
We
T.
have so many.
Oh my God. And Facebook. Xena Warrior Podcast.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast!